If you just started playing PSO2 and don't know what to do next to get stronger, or if you want to optimize your gear and gameplay faster, this guide will definitely help you. Hello! I'm Helaena, and today I'll bring a quick beginner's guide to Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. I hope you find this guide helpful, and if you do, consider subscribing to see more. With that being said, let's get into it. When creating your character, you will be able to choose between 6 different classes, but there are 4 hidden classes you can choose after completing the tutorial, which are the Bouncer, Braver, Waker and Slayer. I highly recommend you to try out all the classes before you advance in the story, since the level system in NGS is per class and not per character, which means if you level up a hunter to level 40 and switch to ranger, for example, your ranger will be level 1 if it's your first time. For the new players, my best advice would be just complete the tutorial and story. By doing that, you will get gear as you level up and progress into the story, and with the last free gear you get, you can clear any content in the game. This is the list of free gear that you can get currently on 2025. By just completing the tutorial, you will get Hextra weapons and Rena armors, both at plus 39, which will carry you until level 20-ish, where you get the Evil Coat weapons and these 3 armors. This piece of gear will carry you until level 65, where you'll finally get your Epithyrene weapons and Decim armors, both limit broken and enhanced to plus 90, the highest enhancement level currently. You can change your class at any moment for free on the class counter once you unlock it through the tutorial. You can change your subclass as well, and regarding subclasses, let's learn about them. Subclasses are basically used only for passive buffs for different situations. For example, people use a Lot Force subclass for farming on places with many mobs because of its passive skill called Eradication PP Gain, which restores PP every time you kill an enemy. Subclasses receive 90% of the EXP obtained by the main class, which means you can level up both at almost the same time. However, your subclasses can only level up to 5 levels less than the maximum level, which means, for example, if your main class is at level 100, which is the current level cap, your subclasses can only level up until level 95. You can bypass that by swapping them once your main class reaches level cap. This way your subclass will receive full EXP to reach the max level. You can practice with any class by just leaving the city and hitting the practice targets out there, or by visiting the training center, which I think it's better because you can practice different stuff like countering, using M.A.R.S. and more. You can find it on the quest counter by visiting the NPC or by clicking on its icon on the map, then choose others, then go to various quests, and select the ARKS Training Center quest. You can leave the quest at any moment by opening the quick menu with F9 or select if you're on console and click on Quest Info, and then on Abandon Quest. Differently from other games, in NGS you can get skill points for all your classes at the same time by completing cocoons and towers around Alpha, which means if you complete a cocoon, you'll unlock a skill point for all your classes, even if you never touched some of them. You can get up to 47 skill points currently by clearing all cocoons and towers. If you're struggling to find them, you can use this NGS Online map. This website is an upgraded version of the in-game map, which you can use to know the locations of reukers, cocoons, towers, and even resources. You can of course play the cocoons and towers as many times as you want to practice boss fights or specific game mechanics, like jumping, gliding or using the board, but you will only receive the skill point when you clear it for the first time. In order to maximize your damage and utility, please ensure you're always with food and both Alliance and Region Mag buffs. If you are not in an alliance, you can find one by opening the menu, then clicking in Communications, and finally, search for Recruiting Alliances. If you're on ship 3, feel free to apply to Blob Blush. We'll be super happy to help you get the ropes in NGS and be a strong blob. You can find my guide about food and mag buffs in the description below, where I explain where and how to farm resources for them. Once you completed the story, you can now farm for resources, weapons, and augments to get stronger. While you can complete any content with the free gear you got at level 65, farming for better gear and enhancing your class/character to improve your efficiency. This is highly recommended because 90% of NGS content is group content, and the more players are doing this type of content, the more HP the monsters will have, which can lead to long and exhaustive farming and sometimes even fail the mission if the majority of the players isn't well geared enough. The first thing I recommend doing is enhancing your add-on skills. These are passive buffs that affect your whole account no matter which class you're playing. You can get them by going to the class counter, then click on add-on skills, and then generate add-on skill and select a class. Each class will provide different unique buffs and sub-effects. I'll leave a link with all add-on skill buffs and sub-effects in the description below. You should at least get all main buffs to level 10, and then grind to get all of them to level 15 plus or even max them out. You will need class NEX cubes, which you can get by leveling up your class or dropping on almost any map. Once you generate more add-on skills, you will unlock more tiers, which I don't recommend you to use right now, because they just cost more resources and money, and you should save your money to other stuff as a new player, so just stick with the level 1 generations until you get level 10 on your main buffs. Now that you have your add-on skill main buffs at level 10, now we can proceed to the next enhancement, Tech Arts Customizations. They are modifications for your photon arts and techniques which can provide different behaviors to them or improve their current ones. These are a little pricey, so please check the TA customization section in the guide of your class to see which ones are recommended for you. I'll also leave links in the description below for in-depth guides for all classes. You can also find the Tech Arts customizations in the class counter, then click on Activate Tech Arts Customization and select a photon art to customize, then select one of the 3 customizations and select the level you want. The highest the level, the highest the cost. So be careful and always check your class guide in the description below. Also on the class counter, you can click on M.A.R.S skills, and then on M.A.R.S skill point exchange to unlock skill points in your M.A.R.S tree. M.A.R.S is a special armament with exclusive weapons, sub-weapons, and passives. You can use up to 2 weapons and 1 sub-weapon. M.A.R.S is super useful for beginners, but it loses its space as you will upgrading your gear and gameplay. I recommend watching Kathy's guide about M.A.R.S and Skull's Nightshade's M.A.R.S color guide. They will be both on the description below as well. Once you have your new gear, you'll need to make it battle ready. To do that, we have the item lab. So let's learn how to use it. In the item lab, you can enhance your weapon and armors, add augments to them, which are little capsules with various different attributes and buffs, enhance the weapon potential, fixa, and more. First, let's learn about enhancement and limit break. Every weapon and armor above level 65 allows us to enhance them up to plus 50. In order to go further, we need to limit break them, increasing the enhancement limit in 10 levels, and we do that until plus 90, which is the current enhancement max level. Limit breaking stuff is a bit pricey, so it's always preferable to do it in the middle of an enhancement campaign, when the costs are decreased significantly. Once our weapon and armors are limit broken, it's time to enhance them to plus 90. For that, we always use Endymio capsules, or Gold Prim Swords 2s and Gold Prim Armor 2s, which have the Endymio capsule already installed in them. But unlike limit breaking, enhancing gear has a success rate, which can easily be increased with these support items. It's also recommended to enhance your gear when an enhancement campaign is going on, because the 100% success, or great success, is always guaranteed. It's important to say that not reaching 100% success rate doesn't mean your enhancement will fail or even that you will lose your item. It'll always succeed, however, you'll enhance your gear much faster with 100% success rates, because the item gets much more EXP. With your weapon enhanced, it's time to unlock its potential. The weapon potential is the weapon's passive ability, being different for each weapon series, and sometimes, even weapons of same series can have different potentials. It can only be done on weapons, and like Limit Break, it's always guaranteed that you'll unlock your weapon potential. Currently on 2025, the maximum potential level is 6, so please make sure to check on the NPC if there are more levels to get when unlocking your weapon's potential. Just like the other stuff I mentioned, it's recommended to unlock potentials on enhancement campaigns due to meseta costs being significantly reduced compared to the actual price without any event. The next thing we should do is add preset skills into our gear, which can be done in both armors and weapon. They're called fixes, and are passive buffs that can be applied and stacked with each other. Fixes can be enhanced up to level 5, but unlike the other enhancements, it's possible to fail. However, you don't lose your item, only the materials used to enhance the fixa. In order to add a level 1 fixa into your armors and weapon, you can use a support item called Add Preset Skills LV.1, which can be obtained by doing some limited time quests, urgent quests, or even be exchanged for any X cubes in the item recycle. This item guarantees that a random level 1 fixa will be added to your equipment, and if it's not the one you want, you can change it by using the item again. There are 7 different fixes for weapons, which are Attack, Fatale, Termina, Wix, Unwix, Blaster, and Abandak. You can pause the video to read what each one does if you want. And there are 6 different fixes for armors, which are Orxis, Increza, Performa, Enthusia, Natura, and Guard. Again, pause the video if you want to read what each one does. Currently, the best fixes for weapons will depend on which class you're playing. For most classes, Fatale is the best option and Attack the second best, but if you're playing Slayer for example, Termina is the only option you should consider. For Rangers and Technique classes like Force and Tector, Fixawix can also be a solid option. So please check your class guide to see which fixa is the best for the class you're playing. For armors, things are a little easier, with Fixa Orxis always being the best option. Fixa Increza and Performa are good options too, but always try to prioritize Fixa Orxis for your armors. In order to enhance your fixa, you'll need a similar item of the same series with same fixa level that your weapon. For example, if you have a Fixa 1 Exilio sword, to enhance it to level 2 you'll need any Exilio weapon with at least Fixa level 1. Now, if you have a Fixa 2 Exilio and want to enhance it to level 3, you'll need an Exilio weapon with Fixa level 2 or higher. Just like weapon enhancement, we have support items to increase the success rate. If you fail, you'll not lose your main weapon, only the material you use to enhance it. You can also craft augment capsules on the item lab by clicking on the last option and then selecting Augment Capsule. There is where you'll craft all your endgame augments, as well as some good LC augments if you are beginning. Especially for the endgame augments, most of them will require specific materials called fuchsia capsules, which you can obtain by playing dual quests. Dual quests are solo boss fights that if you complete in less than 5 minutes, you can earn 5 of these fuchsia capsules, each one from their respective dual quest. You can access dual quests by going to the quest counter or by clicking on its icon on the map, then you can select the dual quest you want to farm, and start fighting. If you play with a class with more than one weapon, or just play with more than one class, then you'll like the multi-weapon system. It exists so if you max out your weapon, you can add a blank weapon into it to make a multi-weapon, therefore you don't need to enhance it again. It's also on the item lab. It costs a decent amount of Meseta, but you'll be saving much more by not having to enhance another weapon, so it's super worth. You can have only one weapon added as a multi-weapon, so if you have, for example, a sword and rifle multi-weapon, if you add another it'll overwrite the latest you've added. In this case, it'll overwrite the rifle. Although it's not mandatory, it's highly recommended that you make separate gear for each dual quest by using the specific dual quest augments, the Defi capsules. They will only work on their specific dual quest, which you can tell by the number at the end of its name. For example, the Defi Iris P.05 and all the augments ended with P.05 can only be used in a dual quest phase 5 mission. If you equip them and do other content, it'll be like you have no augments equipped at all, so please pay attention to that. You can obtain these Defi capsules on the item exchange shop using Augments, a resource obtained by killing gigantics, or malevolent, enemies, on the seasonal shop, if there's a seasonal event going on, or in the personal shop, by buying them from other players. It's highly recommended that you get them from seasonal shops because seasonal points are way easier to obtain than Augments and Meseta. By enhancing your gear, you'll increase the number of augments you can put on them. The current limit is 7 augments, which you can unlock by enhancing your gear to plus 81. It's highly recommended to upgrade your weapon to plus 90 because it increases its damage. However, it's okay to enhance your armor up to plus 81 only to unlock the 7th augment slot, because you'll only lose some defenses, in case you don't care. Just like enhancing preset skills, augmenting your gear can fail, but you only lose the augment. You can also add support items to increase the success rate, and protection items to save your augments for other tries. When augmenting weapons, it's interesting to have a good combo of EX augments, which can be obtained by doing various content like Nameless City, limited time quests, and more. Every single EX augment have the same damage and floor potency, but some of them have different buffs that can make some combos more powerful than others. The EX augments will always come affixed to an Iridium weapon, so we have to transfer them to our main weapon using the augment transfer system. We can do it by clicking on Augment Transfer on the item lab, then EX Augment Transfer. Then you need to select your main weapon or the weapon you want to receive the augments. Then, we need to select the Iridium weapon to transfer the augments to the main weapon. When transferring augments from an Iridium weapon to any other weapon, you only need to pay 10,000 Meseta. However, if you are transferring augments from another weapon, you'll need augment transfer passes. These can be obtained by achieving some titles or doing limited time quests which reward you with vouchers. Then you can exchange 100 of these vouchers for a full augment transfer pass. They're kinda hard to get, so please pay attention when spending them once you have one. You can also transfer augments between armors, but it will also require an augment transfer pass. The process is almost the same, but instead of clicking on EX Augment Transfer, you should select All Augment Transfer and proceed with the process. As of the maintenance of February 11, 2025, a new content recommendation system was added to the game, allowing players to see what is the recommended content to farm for at the moment. As you can see, the game is recommended me to farm the Drill, Ruinous Grand Battle series, which is a limited time quest. However, any relevant content can be recommended here, according to your level, battle power, and progression on the story. A good place to get free weekly resources is the Item Trader Exchange. You can get some valuable resources like Growthment, TA customization discs, LC capsules, and even the materials to craft Helaena, which is the material to craft Lux Helaena, a powerful endgame augment. The shop resets every week after the maintenance, so please don't forget to check the NPC so you don't miss on good stuff, especially if you're a beginner. You can also get LC capsules, TA customization discs, and minerals on the Genesis Points Exchange shop. Genesis points are a currency mainly for purchasing creative space parts, but they can also be exchanged at the NPC Archie for goodies. Unlike the other currencies like AC, SG, and M.A.R.S, you can't go past 150,000 Genesis points. Once you reach that limit, you'll not be able to earn more until you spend some. You can earn Genesis points by doing weekly quests, Archie's side quests, Leishiel exploration, and the time extension quests. The stuff in this shop also resets weekly, but the minerals reset monthly. If you are in an alliance, you can visit the NPC Tim every week to exchange your alliance badges for goodies like Genesis points, star gems, and other stuff. It's also super recommended that you complete the higher amount possible of alliance tasks, because you can get up to 500,000 M.A.R.S per week if you complete them all. So now that you're geared up, it's time to prepare for the true endgame content, fashion. For that, you can just activate your secret credit card, or farm M.A.R.S and buying clothes, accessories, and more from the player shop. The best M.A.R.S farm methods at the moment I'm recording this video are Dex-based farming and Augment farming and reselling. Dex-based farming requires a dedicated video, but basically you'll need to level up the Waker class, build a Tricelio harmonizer or the best harmonizer at the time you're watching this video, and go to Dex-based rank 1 and farm on the PSE bursts by killing the mobs until you have 4 bars filled, and then look for a trial and only complete it when you have the 4 bars filled to trigger a PSE burst. By farming that way efficiently, you can make up to 1.3 million M.A.R.S per hour, which is the fastest and easiest way to farm for M.A.R.S nowadays. The other method is just farming endgame augments on dual quests or other contents that drops them like Crimson Realm, limited time quests, etc. That way you can sell them at the player shop and make lots of money depending on what augments you're selling. And I think that's it for this guide. I tried to not make it too extensive and detailed so the information showed here can be absorbed easier by the new players. I hope you liked the video, and do not hesitate to ask any questions you have in the comments below. I hope you have lots of fun in NGS. See you around. Bye bye.